Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for episode 7 of Atari Twilight, Public Enemy. And it is, if you haven't noticed, the Halloween episode. So let's jump right into our character introductions. You can tell us who you are, who you're playing, and who you're dressed up as. And we will start with the Anonymous Rhino. Mike, who are you playing, and who you're dressed up as?
So I'm Mike, the Anonymous Rhino, at BaloneySlap on Twitter. I am playing George Butts, popular kid. He's perfect. I am also dressed as, the stores were out of everything, so I am Detective Diggy Malone. First name Detective, last name Malone. Get it right.
Detective.
Detective Malone.
Frags, who are you? Who are you playing, and who are you dressed up as?
Oh, brother, don't you know? I'm the Hulkster, Hulkamania. I'm here to run wild. I'm KW Frags. You can find me here with that name. You can find me on Twitter with that name, brother. Oh, yeah. And I'm playing Rob Ott. I personally got this bandana here from our friend and women's intercontinental champion, Cornelius. I asked her, I said, I need something poppin', brother. I need something flashy. I need something that can bring out my personality. Oh, yeah. Oh, wrong wrestler. And she went into the back, past her Bret Michaels collection, past her Axl Rose gold embroidered, so fancy they call it a bandana collection. And she pulled out this beautiful red bandana for me, the Hulkster, baby. Oh yeah. And then I called up our friend Kit Battlebeard, my ex tag team champion. I said, I need something flashy. I need something. Oh yeah, something that's gonna set the Hulkster off right, brother. Let me tell you, he delivered. He broke a glass that said, in case of RuPaul's Drag Race emergency, break. And pulled out this number. Oh, brother, I'm ready to do this. Yeah.
I don't have a segue for that one. Haley, you've been down as much alcohol as you can, because you're next. Who are you? Who are you playing? And who are you dressed up as?
It's not enough alcohol in my house today for all this. Hi, I am the great Haley. I am a variety caster. I am playing Sam Kirkshaw. Again, what? Damn it! It's my turn!
Do it. You got it.
I'm the cutest public kid, I guess. I'm cosplaying as my love, Van Halen. You remember her? Girl that just can't get out of my head.
It's true.
That's who I am today.
Fantastic. Let's jump over.
Voice.
Fucking damn it. Bitters, who are you? Who are you playing? And who are you dressed as?
First of all, thanks for not making me follow that.
Yeah.
I missed Bitters. I hate everything. I play Jerry Baker, and he's a troublemaker. But he's not the only one in the group now, so life is good. And I'm dressed as a labyrinth.
I die a little bit every time you say a labyrinth.
Yes.
Fantastic. And last but definitely not least, Greg, who are you? Tell us about Atari Twilight, and tell us who you're wearing today.
Who am I wearing? Yes, my name is Greg Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Tonight I will be your Game Master and Indiana Jones, a very out of shape, slightly older original Indiana Jones, as we go into episode 7 of Atari Twilight, Public Enemy. And if you are interested in following along with the music, I will let you know that there should be a post somewhere of my Spotify playlist, and I will give you some time to find it, as tonight's episode, like all episodes of Atari Twilight, are best heard and seen. So we experience the music of the 80s in the 80s that never was. But as we get ready to go forward, we have to go back in Atari Twilight, and find out exactly what it was that transpired in the last episode. In the last episode, let me just frame it in this general statement. Vandalism to a police chief running. Holy shit, it's Soundwave. My dad's a predator.
That is the most succinct recap ever.
And if you want more information onto exactly what that whole blurb might have entailed, please go back and check out episode 6, Chief Rugen of our lovely Atari Twilight. But as we delve back into the air of Garrett, Maryland, I will let all of the players and the audience know that today is Saturday, October 31st, 1987. It is Halloween. And in the days and weeks since we last met and last interacted with this group of kids, several things have happened. As Mitch was saved from the fall from the tower in which they were trying to re-engage the communications to the entity known as Optimus Prime that resides in a communication device inside Rob Ott's helmet, Mitch fell and was saved only by a glowing blob, a camouflaged something or other that jumped through the air, snagged him from the air, cradled him in its arms, and whispered one inhuman word: son. As soon as that was over, Mitch was deposited on the ground, and this entity disappeared. Now, since then, and I will get ready to ask these two characters what they have done in the interim, Mitch and Jerry have both been wanted for questioning. Now, this is an unofficial inquiry by Chief Ruben, but it is something that has engaged the entire police department of Garrett, meaning if they were to see either of these boys on the street or attending school or returning to their homes, they would be detained. So before we go any further, I will ask Mitch and Jerry, what have you been doing in these several days?
Jerry, you want to take this one?
I mean, staying off the radar is kind of old hat for Jerry. That's what led him out to the Falcon in the first place, where he found some of these guys hiding out and kind of just made himself at home. So he's probably spent a lot of time at the Falcon. He's not terribly missed at home.
Has he returned home at all? And has Jerry gone to school? Has he gone back to Edgar Allan Poe Middle School?
He probably went home once to grab some clothes. And yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't go to school. I mean, even for a big kid, he figures he could probably blend into a crowd.
Okay. And Mitch?
I don't think Mitch has gone to school, but I think he's getting assignments. And rather than having like his friends be like, "Oh, here's Mitch's assignment," like they just kind of stuff it in the desk somewhere, and the teacher like finds it in the stack of other assignments and is like, "Oh, don't know how this got in here." At least that's Mitch's hope. But he has been living at the Falcon, and he is he's doing his best to make it as livable as possible. Coming from a trailer park, he's no stranger to electric fans, and knowing this is a junkyard, he's used what basic skills he has in mechanics and general electrical engineering for a 13-year-old, and has rigged up some sort of array of batteries from the expired vehicles to power some kind of heater so he doesn't freeze to death in the Maryland autumn.
Right, and as mentioned in the last episode, in the last couple episodes, actually, that winter is pushing into autumn as the nights have gotten quite cold, and it was this temperature that actually drove Ben McKenzie from the Falcon, where he normally slept, back to his home in the Tradewinds trailer park for that fateful night that ended in his hospitalization and remaining in a coma for the past several weeks. with that being said, and with the positioning of Jerry and Mitch determined, I will ask the entire group, now that we are talking about Ben, has anyone tried to go see Ben?
Sam would.
I think Mitch would as well, but when he sees that there's like security and doctors and people, like the moment he gets recognized is that was the last time he went to go to the hospital.
Okay, yeah, we'll say that you never actually got a chance to see Ben. You kind of had to veer off before you could get there. Okay, so we will do something with Sam then, since she is the only one that has said something about this. So here is the recap of where you all stand. At the end of the last episode, and the guardian angel, this predator that you all have named, jumped out and saved Mitch from certain death from his fall of 45, 50 feet above the iron rig scaffolding that was acting as some type of communication disruption. A couple things have happened. One, Mitch is alive, which is nice. The other is that the light inside of Rob Ott's helmet, the light that indicates that an incoming transmission is coming from Optimus Prime, has lit and continued to pulse with that dull yellow flare that it goes off with. But instead of saying incoming transmission from Teletran 1, it has been a countdown that was pretty easily deciphered into hours. And with that countdown, the hours would end sometime today, October 31st, 1987. So at some point during this day, whatever countdown the helmet is telling you, or the transmission through the helmet is telling you, it should arrive at some point during the next 24 hours. Now, in addition to that, we have had several things happen over the course of this season. I will remind the players again, as I did in the green room, but now for the audience, that we have a couple things in play. The aforementioned Ben McKenzie, who is hospitalized. We have George's dad, who has been named by both the helmet and by his own actions as some form of enemy. And if the helmet that Rob Ott wears is to be believed, he was named as Megatron, which would put him at the head of enemy activities. We also have George's mom, who in several episodes past had evidence of very bizarre behavior, to the point where she was meticulously carving out triangular slices of the back lawn of the Butts estate, taking them as if they were slices of pizza and ingesting grass. In addition to that, we have Mitch's dad, the aforementioned predator, who, if that is to be believed, and if the word son is in fact an indication of being the parent of Mitch, that is a mystery that the kids need to solve. Another is Veronica, Sam's older sister. She experienced something the night of their very first adventure. We don't know exactly what it is, but she has been acting oddly since then. And finally, as far as the major points go, we have Shannon. Shannon is a girl who was friends with, for lack of a better word, the bullies in Garrett, Maryland. These bullies were eliminated, diverted, removed from Garrett, Maryland during the first adventure. She blames the kids you see before you, and she has vowed revenge. However, in the past couple episodes, all of the kids have realized that the things they see, the words and the warnings, Shannon also sees. So now, as we drill down into this crisp October 31st, Halloween in 1987 of the 80s that never was, here on Tales from the Loop, I will ask the group, what will you do?
First, the countdown in the helmet, is it counting down like seconds or a minute? Like, is it in my head going, and 8 hours, 20 minutes, and 32 seconds? 8 hours, 20, like, is it like constant?
Nope. It will basically every 60 minutes, you would hear, starting with a number when you first put it on, counting down. And in the last day, every hour it's gone 23. An hour later, 22. An hour later, 21. So you're able to basically extrapolate that it is an hourly clock. And with that, if it continues along the same course, it will end at some point today, probably mid-afternoon.
Okay. I don't know what to do there.
While all of you are thinking about what you would like to do on this Halloween, let us cut back a few days, just a brief flashback. As Sam, you go to the hospital to see young Ben. As you walk into the establishment, you're reminded of how small both the town and this hospital is. And as you creep in, please describe to us, are you bringing anything? You are admitted back as Ben has no family left. And the nurses and doctors all believe that a voice of someone he knows could certainly help him. But Haley, please describe for us how Sam is arriving here at the hospital.
So Sam would bring flowers. It's just a thing that you do when you go to the hospital to somebody that's unwell. And with him being in a coma, she doesn't really intend to do anything except for maybe put them in a vase. This is probably not her first time coming, so she probably already has one there. She'll just replace the flowers. She'll probably sit in the chair and just kind of talk to him, because she's heard before that talking to people can sometimes help them out of that. So she's just kind of going over the events without being too specific.
Okay. So you're going over and kind of giving him a recap of things that have happened since he's where he is.
Basically, yeah. But like I said, without being specific, since she does know that there are security people there in the hospital, especially because of the situation. So she doesn't want to name names and stuff like that.
Right. Being very vague, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a spot listen, please.
Investigation.
I was like, we're playing the wrong game still.
We're not playing Cthulhu anymore, Greg.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Too many systems for me.
We knew what you meant.
Okay. Yes, investigation. Okay. So as you're sitting there with him kind of recapping everything, it would be at this point that I would need everybody to play a little of Fleetwood Mac's Little Lies, if you would. And as we cue up a little of the Mac, at the same time as it begins to play for us, Haley, you would hear the Muzak version of Little Lies playing through the PA system of the hospital, providing this kind of, I dare say, even though it's not very nice for Fleetwood Mac, this soft rock song to help people as they relax and mend. And as you're talking to Ben, it takes you a moment and you don't recognize it immediately, but you see his right index finger tapping.
So she would kind of be taken aback, surprised that he's reacting to something. But not call a nurse, not do anything, just kind of lightly smile and just continue on talking. And then when she's done, she's gonna set her arm kind of on his arm, or set her hand on his arm area, around his upper arm, kind of give it a squeeze, and just kind of mumble you'll be okay. We'll all get through this, before she leaves.
Okay. I'd like you to roll another investigation for me before you leave.
Okay.
As you look down, the tapping finger seems to be making swipes and symbols it's not tapping anymore, as it looks as if it's almost moving independently. And with your success, it looks like it's writing.
Like its index finger looks like it's writing something. Can I try to copy, like on a notebook, the motions he's making?
I'll tell you this, if you can figure out a way to decipher what it is he's doing, you would have to almost like put your hand down there and let him write on your hand. You know that old trick that you did in elementary school where somebody would silently spell out a letter or something in your palm? You have to guess what it was. You would have to do something like that, and I'd make you have a comprehend roll to see if you could figure it out.
Let's do that. Let's I'll put my palm down and try to guess what he's writing.
Okay, you immediately feel the finger stop and feels like the flesh of your palm. And for a moment, the finger, and not the hand, but the finger kind of grabs hold as if it's holding your hand and squeezing.
He's trying to pick me up all along. So he just stops. He's just holding my hand now.
Just for a moment, and then you feel him begin to write in your palm. Go ahead and roll the comprehend. I will remind you, as I always do, that you guys have luck, but when it first starts, you just can't decipher. It's very odd. It's almost as if Ben, in his effort to communicate, if that's in fact what he's doing, it just went too fast, and you couldn't understand it or decipher it.
Question, do your luck points reset, or like as you use them, they're just...
Nope, your luck points are reset at the beginning of every session unless I tell you otherwise. So you guys should be full luck points, and you have your pride back and all that good stuff.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna use a luck. I'm gonna try again. Yay. Look at that.
Okay. So with 2 successes, as he's writing in your hand, it takes you a moment because the words don't seem to go. You think he's saying one thing and you're not realizing that there are breaks in words, or what's a word and what's a series of words, but it's repeated over and over and over again. And finally, you're able to understand exactly what it is he's trying to spell out. And it's the following: Megatron is coming. Find Grimlock.
Lovely. Telling the person who doesn't know Transformers things. Okay.
And as soon as it seems like you've got it, the finger again squeezes your hand. And this time it lingers, as you can feel with that added comprehend roll that wherever he is inside that body of his, Ben desperately wants someone with him, and he knows you're there.
She would squeeze his hand back, hold there for a little bit, especially with him having no family and the other ones haven't really been able to visit, or just haven't yet, before she lets go and finally leaves.
As you would leave, Sam, roll me one more investigate.
Just not doing great on this.
As you walk out, you see the police chief enter into the hospital. He goes over and checks on the condition of Ben, and you can't really hear what they're saying as you walk by. But at the same time, as you're just about ready to leave the hospital, an older man comes in wearing a U.S. Marine hat, And as he comes in, as you kind of pass out, you hear kind of a heated exchange just in the voice levels between this older man and the chief, but you don't hear what's said as you leave the hospital.
Okay.
And with that, we'll cut forward back to Halloween morning, and I will ask everyone, what are you doing this Hallows Eve?
So, Greg, we were having a very important private conversation while this was going on.
Yes, you were.
We've decided several things have happened. Well, have attempted to happen. How about that? That since Mitch has been living inside the Millennium Falcon, in his panic mode, since he can't go anywhere else because he's too afraid of getting locked up and ending up like Ben, he wanted to clean out all of the boy club from the Falcon, because now it's a base of operations and now this is business time. So all of the Cheetos wrappers, the Reese's, the stink of boy, as much as they can get out of there, has been cleaned up. All the trash is moved to at least a pile in Jerry's corner.
Okay, well, hold on 1 second. Before you continue this, I would say that everybody, as we're hearing about what's gone over the past couple month or week or couple weeks, I'd like everybody to queue up Public Enemy number 1.
Perfect.
And there is a montage going on, and with anything 80s, we need music. So cue that up, and Mike, please continue.
Sure. There was the aforementioned battery array, which is just a series of jerry-rigged, possibly literally, batteries from several of the trucks in the junkyard here for power and heat. Not that they know what they need to power yet, but it's dark in here, so they need lights and they need heat. They have built a communications array, which is just their version of extending the CB radio antenna from inside the truck to outside the truck to get better signal, and expanding the Falcon, which I think Jerry has taken onto his own. They want to continue to try to break into the next car, like the next truck. So,
okay.
I don't know if those happen, but that's the goal in the last 3 weeks since jumping off of or falling less than gracefully off the tower.
Nice. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I need tinker rolls for the batteries for both the heat and the lights. So tell me which one you're rolling for first.
Done.
And
all right, so heat is first. You need tinker rolls. Okay, so tinker. Boom. 2 successes on the heat.
okay.
And this is for lights. 0 successes on lights.
I will allow you to use luck, or you can forego it.
Now we can use flashlights, and I'm sure someone has a camping. Like Butts has money; he's got a camping lantern somewhere.
We ain't got no lights, but it's real warm.
But it's real toasty in here. Don't touch the boxes; they might light on fire. And I assume you need another tinker for the communications array.
Yes, tinker for the comm array, please.
2 successes on that one.
Okay, the comms we're going to say the comms, you have doubled the range of the comms because you have put an antenna on the top of the Falcon Cube. So you're able to you got a higher vantage point for kind of a main array, and using the Falcon as a relay station, you're kind of setting up your own hub of communications in the Garrett area. You're not sure exactly what the extent is, but you think it might be substantial on a nice clear day.
Nice. And yeah, I think actually is the giant robot, or not giant robot, is the regular size robot still out in the woods?
Yeah, the 10-foot tall robot is collapsed over by the former glade of Van Halen.
I think if possible, and this might be stretching it, but Mitch would have tried to cannibalize that as much as possible. He is, after all, trying to build a robot.
Make me 1 tinker check.
Gotcha.
And with that, I'm going to ask Jerry for another force check. I'm going to ask Jerry for another force check, as Jerry was the one that had kind of spearheaded the idea to get into the other car.
Sure. Well,
Okay, couple things.
Team Criminal's on fire today.
Team Criminal is definitely making a name. So with the robot that had fallen by, and it's so difficult for me not to say robots now. for the
That's true.
robot that had fallen by Van Halen's clearing, you're able to not only cannibalize any parts that you would like, but in the process of cannibalizing it with 4 successes, you turn it back on.
That's not where the period in that sentence goes, Greg. What happens when it turns back on?
The lumber bot stands back up, and you realize that in the panel that you're looking at, you have done a global reset to this robot. It is awaiting your instructions.
Do I have a fucking robot? Is this real life right now? Yeah, I command this robot to go back to the Millennium Falcon. Are you kidding me? We have a fucking robot.
Okay, well, it's not that easy as you realize that this is still the 80s.
All right.
The robot is definitely under your control, but you're going to have to find a way to basically input commands into it. When I mean a global reset, I mean it doesn't know what to do anymore.
Oh.
So you're going to have to figure out and take some time to teach it how to walk.
Okay.
This is a child, it's a baby again. So, but this baby is willing to learn.
Sweet. Yeah, that's
And
the
it
first
has-
task, is to get it to the Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have you spend if you have downtime, tell me that you're working on that. As of right now, it is no longer fallen in the glade by Van Halen's tree, or former site of her tree. It is now standing in that area. So it's not making any moves to return or any other kind of independent movement, but it is now standing instead of having been fallen. Jerry, as you were working to kind of peel away the metal and bang and crowbar your way into the next cube or the next truck, you are able to do so. But one afternoon where, we'll say Mitch is out working, on everybody else is in school, and Mitch is working on getting the robot back to the Falcon, as you are pulling using a crowbar or some other kind of simple machine to pry your way into the second car. You can see it. You can stick your hand into there. The temperature is a bit cooler in there as the heat that's inside the Falcon has not been able to kind of creep through the ventilation that you've created. But as you reach through and as you begin to use the lever to pull, your hand slips. But as it slips, you grab hold of a side of the metal and you see electricity creep down from your elbow, lancing out through each of the fingernails of your right hand. And as if you're pulling a page in a book, you pull the metal across and open the way into the other truck.
Jerry probably freezes and looks around, and he can't believe nobody else is here. Are you kidding me? And he's gonna have to try to replicate that result.
Roll another force roll for me. As you kind of look around, Jerry, you almost do like an Atlas type of move. You position your body in between the hole that you've created and put both of your hands up on the sides of this, maybe 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot hole you've created. And with a push, you feel energy lance out of both shoulders, down the elbows, and 10 points of arcing electricity shoot out of each of your fingernails, as almost as if you're brushing through the cloaks in a wardrobe leading to Narnia. You open the way further as you push the metal aside.
This has some lasting repercussions. I think Jerry's gonna take the rest of the day off. But as sort of an aside, he'd like to go back to the trade winds and get a little bit of revenge, because that's Jerry, on the guy who sold them out to the cop who spotted him. I think Jerry was hoping to go back to the trade winds and sneak into this guy's shed to try to steal some power tools.
Okay. Why don't you roll me a stealth roll, and why won't everyone else take a drink as you fire up a little Michael Jackson bad? Okay, so you're able to get into the area, and it's an old metal shed with kind of a sliding accordion door across the front, and you're able to open it up, as it's only locked with kind of an eye hook bolt. It's closed with a bolt, not locked with anything, and you're able to get into the power tools.
Yeah, if there's like a saw, really anything for cutting and things like that, Jerry will take it and take it back to the Falcon.
You find a bow saw, you find like almost like a double-bladed lumber axe, but there, just before you leave, you see a hard shell case of what looks like a steel chainsaw.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Jerry's gonna take whatever he can carry, probably starting with the chainsaw. And that's how he'll explain away all the work he got done in that one day. He got power tools.
Okay, so he's telling no one.
Not yet, no.
Okay. So this would be explained away with the borrowed power tools. When anybody else sees the new hole that has appeared in the Falcon, your living space has doubled. And what this means for Mitch, who is working on something, your access to components has also doubled. So you have redundancy and secondary items from both of these trucks. But let's cut, as bad continues to play, from this area of Garrett, Maryland, across the city to the good side of Garrett, Maryland, as we go into the home of George Butts. And we know it's the home of George Butts because the unique shrubbery out front indicates as much. George, your father has been away for almost 6 weeks, and your mom seems not to be worried about his absence, even though you know this is the longest, at least in your lifetime, that he's ever been away. What has George been doing during these last days and weeks?
I think George is kind of spending as much time out of the house as he can, in fear of his father just coming home one day. Now he's not going to be spending like all that time at the Falcon or anything like that. But, he's out there, getting numbers, so, little lady killer that he is. So he's going on a lot of dates. And then whatever doggy bag he has left over, he takes it to Mitch and them for them to have.
So you're bringing them food?
Yeah, I'm going to help try to bring them food as well.
How many of the dates are actual dates? And how many of them are you eating food and then eating like half of it and bringing the half-eaten food to them?
Mike, you'll never know.
Sam knows.
Sam, shut your mouth.
Okay, so let's do this. How about you roll me a charm roll, and we'll see just how well George has been doing.
Pretty good.
Not bad. So even though the truth of the matter will not be disclosed, George knows. And George, in his own mind and on the scoreboard of the hearts and minds of Garrett, Maryland, the visitors are down and the home team is winning.
As it should be.
Now, George, in addition to romantic and numerical conquests, is there anything else George has been doing to kind of either come to grips with the information that's been received over the past couple weeks and months? Any plans or preparations, or perhaps anything he's done to personally come to grips with anything?
I think he's, he hit me with the hard questions. I want to say yes. I think he's having a lot of internal debates, which has changed it hasn't changed his pride, but it's changed his drive. And he's starting to like kind of question, is who he wants to be. Because he also sees like who his father is and all that. So he's starting to wonder about, is it worth being popular and that kind of stuff? Because he's noticing that he doesn't hate the other kids as much as he wants to or would have, and it kind of like has him questioning where he stands. So but as far as like productivity, I don't know. I would say he's kind of lost because he's still doing a little soul searching.
Okay.
Now, he might be working on some squats. He's doing some toning. He's not beefing up like Jerry, but he's doing like vanity muscles.
Beach muscles, getting his beach muscles ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So in addition, why don't you go ahead and roll me a force? Let's see how well that the aerobics have been going. Not bad. You have been sweating to the 80s, which aren't the oldies yet. And as you are kind of getting in shape, we'll have a bit of a role play session here. As one day, George, you are in your home. Your father is not there. It's one of those rare occasions where you have decided to spend a little bit longer than maybe you normally have in the house, as you've noticed or mentioned, for fear of him coming back and there being some type of altercation. Your mom is not there either. But it just strikes you as you pass by your father's office, and for a moment you just stare at the door.
Does it stare back?
It always does.
Yeah. Are there any rocks nearby?
Yeah, it's your house. Outside there are plenty of rocks. So.
Oh, at the house. I'm sorry. For some reason, I'm thinking like he went to ride by the loop.
No. You're in
my father's personal office.
His personal office. This is the office. You said that narratively you explained both to me and on stream that your mom, being a professional geriatric sexual consultant, and your father being a supervisor at the loop, both have personal office space in your home as you are an only child. So yes, you've gone. You just happen to be walking past or down the hall past your father's office in the home.
You know what they say about closed doors? Sometimes you just got to open them. That's a saying they have out there.
Sure.
So I'm gonna see if I can go just waltz right in.
It looks and smells as you would remember it. It's got that pungent tinge of Old Spice, stale, but it's also got the smell of not having been opened in a while. So there's a dankness to it, as seems to be apparent in homes that have this much carpeting. And you know where your dad keeps everything in here. You are also aware of the safe that he has behind the painting, the safe that he has, the lock drawer he has in his desk. Are any of these things something that you would like to explore?
Why, yes, Craig. Yes, they are.
Sure.
All of them. I would start with probably the desk first, and just see if there's like a way to unlock it, or if my dad was silly enough to like leave the key in the drawer or something like that to unlock it.
Well, let's see if he was. Why don't you roll and investigate for me?
All right, then. My specialty. No.
You cannot find anything that would resemble or look like a key for a desk. You find a ring of your father's keys, but you believe them to be nothing more than keys to the shed, to the riding lawnmower, things like that. You don't see, and even as you try, nothing seems to open the desk. You could try to force it.
He's not desperate for that yet. he's next going to try the safe, and he's going to try his birthday, George's birthday, for the combination.
It pops right open.
I steal 5 gold bars. That's all I planned for.
There you go.
What is it? I'm assuming there's documents in there.
As you look inside, there are only 2 things. One is a map of Garrett, and one is a note that says seashore.
I'm going to read that note.
It has a series of numbers on it, a very long 22-digit series of binary, and beyond just the ones and the twos and the ones and the zeros that you're looking at here, it doesn't make any sense to you. But it says seashore, and when you open it, you have this 22-digit configuration.
Now, so knowing Maryland, the Chesapeake Bay isn't that far away. How far away is it from Garrett, Maryland?
About 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. Okay, so Garrett's kind of inland a bit. What about the map of Garrett? Is it like one of the tourist maps, or is it like a sometimes you can get like the local government map of the area? It's very nice. Is it one of those?
It's one of the ones that you would get from the Forestry Service. You can actually see it's a topo, so you can see elevations of the different hills that are around the area, the elevations of the residential areas. However, none of this is indicated, as it doesn't give you building information. It just gives you the rise and the roll of the land. There aren't any longitude and latitude. The only reason why you're able to look at this is that somebody has superimposed Interstate 68 across the area, but they've removed all of the buildings for some reason. And the only other landmark available on this is the loop itself. And you can actually see the circular accelerator as it dips to the north section of Garrett.
And there's no other markings besides the loop and I-68, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But with that, if you were to put it up against like another map, like a tourist map, you would easily be able to extrapolate different areas using the 2. So it's very familiar to you because you grew up here.
Right. So I'm gonna take those 2. And is there anything else in the safe, or is that just it?
That's it.
That's it. I'm gonna close the safe, and I'm gonna spin the tumbler, and then painting over it and make it look as if I'm not there or wasn't there. I don't want to be greedy, but now that I've seen this, I'm like, well, what's in the drawer? So maybe I would go back to the drawer and try to. I don't want to like force it to break it, but maybe that happens. You know, George's been working out. He could totally break it if he wants to. Like,
you have absolutely, yeah. So let's roll a force roll as you find, we'll say a screwdriver, and you kind of insert it into the just kind of pop.
You know,
it's just not going to give. As soon as you put the screwdriver in, like through the gap in the wood of the drawer and the actual frame of the desk, you feel the flathead hit a ding, ding, and you can feel that there's metal inside here, as whatever's inside this drawer is also encased beyond just the wood.
It's a stupid fucking drawer anyway. I don't want to open it. He knows he has criminal friends. They'll teach him how to pick a lock. So he kind of bookmarks that one, and he'll go back to it in a couple days after he gets some knowledge and supplies from his nefarious friends.
Excellent. And then we'll basically fast forward George to the morning of Halloween. And this will bring us finally around to Rob. Rob, today's the day. And as you wake up, and you know what, just for shits and giggles, and like I always do this, but you know, we know that it's Mitch's song, but cue up The Touch, everyone, by Stan Bush, as we're talking a little Transformers here. And so, you know, today's the day. If the countdown is to be believed, today is the day that you'll receive a message that you've long anticipated from Optimus. You hope.
I'm just saying, I've been listening to The Touch nonstop for like a week now, and that's the theme song for this entire show. Like, go back and listen to the lyrics of that song, and be like, oh yeah, that's the whole song for Atari Twilight. It's great.
Yeah, it really is. So I have one question for Rob. Have you told anybody else about the countdown?
Probably, but not until it was later than he probably should have. Like, I feel like he might have told somebody with 2 days left.
Okay, so
I
they
felt
would know
like-
that they would
Yeah.
know today then if you told them the countdown was okay. So we are going to pick up at 10 o'clock in the morning on Halloween morning, October 31st, 1987, Saturday. Rob, you are up, you are ready to go. As soon as you kind of put the helmet on and listen for about 10 minutes, you hear 3.
Oh, we're at 3. Okay, this changes everything. Okay. Well, Rob's gonna get on his back and ride and head out to the Falcon to see what the plan of action is going to be with 3 hours left. He wants to convey and see what the general group consensus is before he makes any kind of decision. He's not really going to stop anywhere. He's just going to hop on his bike, and he's in panic mode because none of us know what's going down, and we've done very minimal to prepare.
Okay. So as you're hauling ass down towards the grav truck graveyard, are you stopping to get anybody? Is this something that you would have told all of the group, including like George and Sam, that today was the day to meet? Or is this just something that you would have just given them and let them come to their own conclusions about whether or not they should meet up?
I feel like I probably told Jerry, and then Jerry, while I was with Mitch, was like, "Tell him what you told me." I don't know, just I'm putting words in Jerry's mouth, and I would have told Mitch, and we would have smashed our collective heads together and not known what to do. So I feel like while I wasn't there, maybe when Butts and Sam were there at a separate occasion, maybe Mitch conveyed that information to them. So I think it's like it's kind of gone down the line. I don't know if he would have. I'm not trying to put that on Mitch or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if everybody knows, that would be the way that Sam and Butts would know, would be through.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's let the dice help out George and Sam here. I want, for the first time, Rob to roll a lead roll as you are telling them what's gone on, and to see exactly with how much conviction you are able to articulate.
Muted.
Show am. I can roll this with the headphones, right? Because it gives me a +1 to lead.
The matrix of leadership is in play. Yes, you can play it.
Okay, yeah.
And if you, once again, you do not have to, but if you would like to use luck.
I will use an early game luck and redo this one. Okay, all right. I'm going to use no, I'm not.
So what this means for George and Sam, regardless of what you have said to them this time, earlier perceptions of Rob might still be in play. So even though that you have been passionate in your description of what's happening in the helmet, nothing in this speech that you've just given is any different than something that you've said before. So however in fact, if you want to go ahead and say what he would have said to George, go ahead. But George and Sam, just for sake of what's going on here, this isn't a General Patton speech. You're not moved by what he's saying any more so than you would be in a normal circumstance.
To be fair, in Rob's mind, it's coming out as a massively eloquent, rousing Dr. King style just speech where he's got everybody's attention, but in reality it's the count down and the mega coming, and we hit 2 days, and it's we really focus, and that's kind of what comes out. And since I'm guessing George and Sam haven't been around Rob as much as the other guys, they don't know how to decipher what the hell I'm talking about or how to make me kind of chill out.
George?
I had to remember what my unmute button was. Yeah, no, he just is totally unmoved by it because he doesn't view, because he's younger. Rob is younger than me by like 1 year, right? Yeah, no.
Sure.
Is it 1 year? I think it is. You're 12, right?
Yes, I am 12.
Yeah, so that 1 year, maturity-wise, totally different for George. He's way more mature than you ever will be. So he doesn't have to listen to you. His mom said so. His mom didn't say so. His mom is nice.
All right, brother.
So, George, would this be something that if you were able to kind of glean enough from Rob's impassioned speech that today Halloween would be the end of this countdown? Is this something, would George have alternative plans for Halloween? Is this something, is he like, with it being a weekend and not necessarily a holiday, would he check in with everybody at the Falcon, or is George moving beyond them and trying to separate himself from them?
No, I think George would overstep, maybe. I don't know if overstep, but there's really no clear leadership, but George also has skills in leadership. I think George would try to make up his own plan for everybody to follow. And that's that we need to go trick-or-treating because that's our best way to go unseen, but also be around town wherever we need to be.
Okay.
So that's his plan for this one. Now, I know was a lot of planning about summoning a certain someone, but I don't know if we want to officially have that chat while she's not here.
Okay. So we'll say, for sake of the narrative, that if there is a gathering to take place, that it would take place coincidentally at the Falcon for the plan ahead for the evening of Halloween and perhaps the future. As we're going to go ahead and say that everyone, we won't move Sam down there until Haley gets back and she tells us if she would in fact get down to that position, or go to the Falcon and be there for this countdown conclusion. But what would, as you guys kind of all convene there, several things are noticed as there's a new hole in the wall of the Falcon. There's been an expansion, doubling the size. Mitch is working on a robot that's out in the woods. Rob is very excited. And as George arrives and potentially Sam, Rob, you would hear in your helmet, 1.
Did Rob tell Jerry and Mitch this whole helmet situation?
Legibly.
Yeah.
What?
Did you tell us about the helmet situation?
Yeah, I said I told you when I had 2 days left.
Okay. And you also told us about because I know you didn't get to tell us last episode, but did you tell us about the arcade?
I did not, because I didn't want to admit that I hadn't heard from Optimus.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that what I knew. And now we're all the boys are back in town, are back at the Falcon, is what I'm understanding here. And you just heard 1. Okay. That's it. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yep.
So with the countdown at presumably 60 minutes, is there anything that you would like to do, Rob, or anybody, as presumably at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a message will come this way?
Rob's gonna say 1 hour.
Do we know what it is? Is it just says a number, right? It doesn't tell us. Is something gonna happen? Is it gonna call you?
I don't know. Something's coming. Someone's message. I don't know.
It could be the Decepticon guys. Decepticons. Remember when we first met them? They said they would be back. They would have less family and friends.
That's what I'm thinking.
Greg, on the map, could you indicate where the scrapyard is?
Absolutely. You are just south of the Maplehurst Mall. So if you look beneath the T of the Maplehurst Mall,
Yep.
there's the scrapyard.
Okay. And the Butts live in, like, Mountain Lake Park.
Correct.
Okay. Feasibly, I mean, I don't have a topographical map, Greg, but feasibly, if we stand on top of the Millennium Falcon's cube, can we see in that direction if we had something like the aid of binoculars?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. We don't have
So
those.
that's the thing
but-
is that George would have brought the map and the note and everything to the Falcon.
Okay.
Okay, kind of consolidating all of the
Yeah,
evidence
because he
you
knows
guys
he's
have
not
had
far enough
before.
for this, and he knows there's some dorks here that know a
Yeah.
thing or two.
I'm sure that with like the friendliness with the science teacher and Mitch's desire for science and mechanics, he has to have some like rare earth magnets, and they just put the map up inside the metal box truck, because you can't use thumbtacks. Plus robots, you need magnets or something. I don't know how do those work. But the note, yeah, I guess if you show him the note, he kind of looks over the note and says, "But what does this mean? It's just like a bunch of numbers."
Okay, you tack up the map. Where are you putting the note?
He's holding it right now. If Butts shows him the map, he's holding it. But then he's basically looking at this. He reads the nonsense and he looks over and says, "But Butts, this doesn't mean anything. What are these numbers?"
I don't know. That's why I brought it to you guys. I thought that was like, is that like a radio signal? I don't know.
It's 20 numbers.
22. 22 digits of binary.
20 digits of binary. Greg, can I roll a comprehend on this? I don't know a lot about computers. It's the 1980s, but
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a comprehend roll here.
okay. I also have program if that helps. I don't think it does, but let's see here.
I'll take either one.
All right, I'll give you a program. I'm better at that one. Oh, I got one. I got a one. One success.
It's partial. You're not sure that anything with only 22 digits in binary could convey but a higher reasoned. You're not sure exactly what it is, but you can't imagine that this is a complete sentence, or it just would be too brief. Even in binary languages, is too brief for there to be any type of large explanation involved or description involved with this, but that's about all you can get.
Okay. Yeah, I think he rummages around on the, because it's like a workbench, right? And he pulls out like a notepad and rewrites these numbers down, and then tacks the note, if Buzz lets him, tacks the note up with the magnets next to the map, and he says, "This has to be like a word, but I can't translate this. Mr. Derry might be able to. The library."
Right at that moment.
Shit.
Right at that moment, inside Rob's helmet, Rob, you hear, "Urgent communique from Teletran 1. Urgent communique from Teletran 1.
Go ahead, Teletran. And he's gonna.
You hear the line open.
Beatbox. Can you hear me? Loud and clear. I don't have much time. There's a package delivered to the UPS depot. Its notation is Grimlock. Loop scientists are already there searching. There are more enemies than just the Decepticons. Your squad must find this package, Beatbox. We're on our way, but we are still very far. I fear the battle may be over before we arrive. It is up to your squad to save the Earth. Beatbox, protect all of your soldiers. I fear you will need them before this is over. They're coming for your friend, the one that's hurt. Until the day, till all are one.
What does it say?
Do you have a mailbox number, Optimus? We gotta go to UPS.
UPS? What?
There's a package designated Grimlock.
That's not great.
He said the guys from the Loop are already there. We have to go now.
Okay.
Come on.
And Mitch has had the time to organize this place, and he grabs pipes because Jerry's rubbing off and holds them out to everyone else.
What do you need to ask you about picking locks? And he takes a pipe.
That's Jerry.
You're all criminals to me.
Jerry? Jerry has his own pipe.
Yeah, it's worked in, you know.
In more than one.
Jerry, he pulls on a new shirt, like he didn't bring many clothes, but he does pull on one that he's used just some red paint he found somewhere, and he's written in rough lettering, "Stop Jerry," and just left a big red handprint. He pulls that on over his head, and then pulls out his own pipe, and gets ready to go.
It's already worn, it's got tape, sweat marks on it.
Yeah.
And he hands one to, he holds one out to Rob.
Now, is this like a lead pipe?
It's just a pipe.
It's a pipe.
It's a scrapyard. It's a pipe. It's a whatever pipe you want.
I just want to make sure it's not like PVC or something.
No, it's a metal pipe. Like
Okay,
an
so
exhaust pipe, possibly. Like, who knows? It's whatever he could find.
So, okay, I just want to. All right.
I mean, to be fair, we used a bowling ball and a wrench last time, so I mean.
Hey man, I just want to make. I have high priorities. I want to make sure you guys are on my level. So, Rob's gonna take the pipe. Thank you.
Perfect. Mitch looks to Butts and he says, "Hey man, where's Sam?"
He's in the bathroom, man.
How would you know that?
I don't know where
I
she's
hate
at,
you
man.
so much sometimes. Should we call her? She shouldn't.
Yeah.
She shouldn't meet us there at the UPS place. That's gonna be trouble.
No, we should travel as a group.
No, I mean I don't think she should come.
Oh, she shouldn't go at all?
She's a girl. She's gonna get hurt.
I think she's tougher than you are, dude.
I'm gonna hit you with this pipe.
Well,
Whatever.
try to hit Sam with the pipe and see what fucking happens.
I'll let her know you defended her honor while she was gone. Yeah, he'll try to call Sam on the CB inside the Falcon to try to get a hold of her and let her know where they're going, whether she responds or not.
Okay, we'll say that the message is out in the pattern. Whether or not it is received, that we'll find out later. So,
Sweet.
where are you guys going?
Apparently the UPS store. The UPS depot.
We're going ups.
Okay. So as you all take to your bikes and ride north, the UPS depot is just south of Edgar Allan Poe Middle School, so it doesn't take you long to get there. It is nothing more than a garage that is stationed with a large fence out back, and there are bays that take both like the rigs that come off of 68 and unload packages, and the smaller vans that deliver those packages throughout the town of Garrett, Maryland. It's not someplace that's really a retail station. You don't go there to send packages. This isn't like today. This is simply a place where packages are delivered as a way station, taken from the larger vehicles to the smaller, and then taken to their final destinations. So to approach this place would immediately draw suspicion, as there aren't any customers that attend here. What would you all like to do when you get here?
Oh man, is there a place that we can look out at this place? Like some kind of spot for surveillance.
Like a vantage point?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys can look up on the hill above Edgar Allan Poe Middle School. There's the athletic field, then there's a rise to the top where the school is, and basically just past the athletic field is the UPS depot. So if you wanted to just basically sit in front of the middle school, you could.
Yeah, I think Mitch would pitch the idea. Well, guys, if we go to the hill right behind the school, we can look down, right? Because Rob said that there's already people there. I know people are looking for me. I think they're looking for Jerry, but the less people that see us, the better. And if they're looking for the same thing we are, if they don't know we took it, it's probably for the best, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Okay. And then he heads in that weird like crouch run that you do when you're sneaking up the hill. The crun, yeah, up the hill to try to get to a vantage point.
Okay. So whoever is spying on the depot, I know you guys don't have anything that can augment your vision in the form of binoculars or anything like that. So go ahead and roll me just a straight investigate, please.
1 success for Mitch.
Okay, Mitch, as you're watching, you see that you're not looking down at an area that is incredibly secure. This is not a guarded facility. This is a terminal for the delivery of packages. You can see that most, if anything, the general attitude on the workers and drivers that are leaving this area is disinterest. This is a job, nothing more. They're not paid to keep people in and out. You can see that there are several holes in the fence that either have been never fixed, or if they were damaged in some way, there's been no mind placed to them, as there's an overgrowth of grass around the area where certain areas of the chain link have kind of been pulled free of different moorings. You figure sneaking into the depot would not be that hard. Remaining unnoticed might be, as the area itself is pretty clear. It's pretty vacant. So there's nothing really to hide behind once you were in there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I assume everyone has seen this, right? Or I guess it's just Mitch, because Mitch is the one who says, all right, guys, I think we can get in there, but the chances are we're going to be spotted, so we have to move, like, super fast and super quiet.
Why'd we bring the pipes?
There's bad guys.
Yeah. So they can't see us if they're unconscious. Jerry, I thought you were supposed to advocate this kind of stuff.
But I think you're watching a lot of movies, man.
Yeah, it's not like in the movies. If you hit somebody in the head, they probably just like die.
No, it's like a glass bottle. It just breaks right away, guys, and they just knock out. It's okay. They're just sleeping.
Not true.
They're just sleeping.
Go get me a glass bottle. I'll show you.
You're a glass bottle.
Shit.
What? Okay. Anyway, if we go in, like through this way, we can probably be seen the least. But I don't know. Has anyone ever been here? I don't even know where the package would be. Rob, did he tell you anything about it?
No, he just said that guys from the loop were here are looking for it.
I mean, I
You
guess,
see no indication. You see no indication of anybody other than UPS employees here.
I assume there's like cars in the parking lot, but they're probably employees. There's no like unmarked government vans.
No, and everything. There's only about a half dozen cars that are here.
Okay. But what if? No, wait. Okay. Yeah, but what if you go in? You know how if you get a UPS package and you're not there to sign for it, they leave the slip and say, "Hey, you can come pick it up later at the depot," right?
Yep.
That's the thing. What if you go and you try to convince them that you're missing a package, and that you lost the thing, and that you're here to pick it up?
Yeah, but I'm a kid. Normally that's like an adult thing.
Yeah, but maybe your mom sent you because she's busy, because your dad is, I don't know.
And then like I have to get it because my mom asked me to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm tracking, man.
Okay.
I'm good.
And then you can be like the distraction, and you talk to the guy. Best case scenario, he finds it and gives it to you, and then we just leave. Or you distract, we sneak in and find it.
I can't take the pipe with me, can I?
I mean, you can't just carry a pipe out in the open.
I just came from the hardware store. I'm running errands. I got the pipe for my dad, and now I'm getting the package for my mom. Giggity.
Okay, yeah, I guess if you can sell that.
I mean, you didn't buy it right away, so it doesn't sound like this is a good story to go by.
It's not, man.
Can I try? I want to try to convince Mitch that this is a good idea.
Roll a lead for me.
Oh God, no!
That's
Oh
a great...
no! One.
You
I got a
guys, come in.
success.
I think you got it, man. I think that's it. Yeah.
Natural born leader here. All right, going for it. Taking the pipe with me.
Okay, so as you walk down to the UPS store, pipe in hand, George, it's at this
To be
time.
clear, I'm not holding it like a baseball bat. I'm holding it in the middle, so it's like less conspicuous.
Yes, more like a relay baton, less like an instrument of death. Got
Yes.
you.
Yep.
Okay, so as you are descending down from the rise of Edgar Allan Poe Middle School, the rest of you would see that indications are in full swing for what would be the Halloween festivities here at the school. There's not a dance per se for Halloween, but since it is a Saturday, the school will be opened up for what they call indoor trick-or-treating, where you're able to go around to classrooms and get, just kind of load up your bags with candy in a very confined space. And it's at this point in the later afternoon that people are showing up to start to decorate the inner classrooms and things like that. So there's a more of an activity behind you really at the school than there is in front of you. But in addition to that, Rob, Mitch, and Jerry, I'd like you to roll investigate rolls for me, please, as George descends to UPS. Oh, shit. Everybody just
It's easy.
Eyes
1, 2,
open.
3, A, B, C.
Well, we sent George in as bait. We're paying attention.
right. I got to see him die, right? Okay.
I want to see George get jumped.
Wow, rude.
As you guys are sitting there kind of just in a state of high alert, and as you're looking around, it's almost as one that Rob, then Mitch, then Jerry, or other way around, Rob, then Jerry, then Mitch, kind of turn 1, 2, 3 as a police car cruises down in front of UPS, stops for a moment, and then turns into the parking lot of UPS. This is on the side opposite of George, and from his vantage point at the same level as the depot, he would not see it as he continues towards the building. A moment later, the door swings open and the chief gets out, heading towards the building from the opposite side.
Bro, Rob, you got to go get him.
He's gonna think you're talking about the cop, and he's gonna look at the police officer and look at his pipe. I don't know.
You don't know what? You gotta get butts out of there.
Yeah, and he's gonna walk towards the door.
Holding the pipe.
Yeah, holding the pipe still. Yeah, but he is holding it like by the end, like over his shoulder.
Went to the hardware store for our fathers.
Yeah, he's completely uncouth. Doesn't realize what's wrong.
Are you like double timing it from this vantage point? You're a couple, like maybe 200-300 yards away from the depot as George is just getting there and the chief is just getting there from the opposite side. Are you going to run to get down there, Rob? Are you just trying to be stealthy, or?
He's visited the mall a few times with his parents, so he knows what a power walk is. And he's gonna heel toe, like real fast, try to be as inconspicuous, but at the same time being so obvious.
Okay, roll a move roll for me as you power walk down to the UPS. You've got it. You've got, with the pipe in your hand, you've got like the perfect pumping of the arms and the swing and rocking of the hips. I mean, it's good. It looks, form is on point. We're going to say that you don't get as fast as you, or get there as quickly as you would if you had like burst into a run, but you're making better time than you would if you were just simply walking, because of course this is power walking. And as you move down there, we're going to cut to George. As George, you come around the corner and you realize, much from the outside, the idea of this depot doesn't change once you get closer. It's essentially a garage. In the back of this area, it seem to be places where they can pull the trucks in to either clean or fix them. And in the back, you see a large warehouse with racks, very reminiscent of the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you just see large metal racks that extend high above the head of even they're 7-8 feet tall, and you can see that there is a forklift around, and there are several kind of rolling stairs to take these packages and kind of stack them up. And you see that there are bins everywhere, that as these things come in, they don't stay on these racks long, as they are broken up by size and section of the city.
Okay, so I have no idea about the chief still, right?
You do not see him at this point.
Okay. Then nothing's stopping me.
Are you sneaking in, or are you going with the plan to ask for a package?
I think now that he is the package, the perfect package. I think I'm going to survey real quick, see what's, I guess I already saw what a lot of that was. I just kind of like, if there's people there, I kind of want to see like, what do the people, how are they reacting? Are they searching around too, or do I not even see people?
Roll me an investigate check.
Okay. 0.
You do see people, but you don't see them doing anything in particular. They're all wearing kind of the brown outfits of UPS. As they walk around, they seem to be going about their business. No one looks like they're searching for anything. But then again, you don't know what's searching for something and what's just doing your job here at the depot.
Okay, yeah, nothing's stopping me. Then I continue on with the mission.
Okay, so you're going to the front to ask for their package?
Yes, I am.
Okay, as you go to what looks like a desk area, it's not set up in any way for, customer use, but as you walk forward, it seems to be more of a desk where you would receive instructions, as maybe delivery routes and schedules and things like that for the employees. And as you walk up towards that from the opposite direction, you see the chief walking to the same point.
I shit a brick first, and then I try to like skulk, if you will. I try to like maybe get up against the wall or something like that to just kind of like be a little bit less conspicuous.
Okay, roll a stealth for me as you stand out a bit here.
Nope.
The chief's eyes, as even in a small town, an investigator he is, he sees you and kind of cocks his head a bit as he walks forward, kind of saddles up right next to you and leans against the wall, waiting for someone to show up at the desk. 10 seconds go by. 20 seconds go by. He says nothing. Rob, at this point, you get down to the opposite side of where George entered, and as you come around the corner without the need for an investigate roll, you see the chief leaning against the wall right beside George.
Are they chatting? Does Rob see? Does it look like they're engaged in conversation?
Roll investigate for me.
Does he look caught?
The only thing that you're certain about is that George shat a brick, but other than conversation, you don't see them engaged in any, but you're too far away to actually tell.
George, do you look distressed?
I'm gonna need you to roll investigation.
Exactly. You would have received more information and do not shit the bed on that roll, but
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Damn it. Oh, well. Anyway, no, I won't.
I will let you burn a luck if you want to use that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay.
He's gonna keep walking, because I mean, what are the chances? No, he's gonna just beeline it straight to George and see George go. Guys, get out of here. He's trying to be like, sneaky, but he doesn't.
Awesome. Roll a stealth check for me, please.
Oh, damn it! I had to use the word sneaky. Where's that stealth button? A sneak. I can do a sneak.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do a sneak at all.
Once again, I will tell you that luck is in play here. Should you employ it?
No, he's gonna do what my dad is notorious for doing, and George, he's here. Super loud and obvious. It's like a stage whisper.
George, you feel a hand drop onto your right shoulder. A very large, sort of pre-arthritic, large kind of knobby knuckles on this meaty hand as it drops. And you feel a slight squeeze of intimidation. What's with the pipe, son?
Well, with all due respect, sir, I did not give you permission to touch me, and I am a minor, and you're an adult, and I do not think this is a situation you should be putting me into right now. I'm just here to pick up a package from my mother.
Roll a charm.
Oh boy. Don't fail me now. Got one success.
You feel the hand lift just a bit, but it remains almost kind of floating in your proximity as if it's ready to drop again. Let me rephrase, son. What's with the fucking pipes?
Oh, these pipes here, brother.
Oh, they're running wild.
I just have the one. It's for my dad. I'm just out here running errands for my parents, man. I'm not trying to cause any trouble here.
Well, maybe I can help you out. What are you here to get?
My mom said she got some sort of package, and you're not really working for the UPS, so I'm gonna just wait until one of those guys gets here.
Well, sure. We'll find it together. I think it's the right thing for me to do because, I'm waiting here I got a new package coming in myself. My new bowling bag's supposed to be here.
A new bowling bag? Got yourself a new bowling bag. Very nice.
I did. Had to order one.
Really? Had to?
Mm-hmm.
Not just wanted to?
It became a bit of a necessity.
Do they like expire? Do they have expiration dates?
Not normally. Roll a charm.
I hope.
I knew it.
Oh man,
I knew it. Oh.
Can I assist with this fail?
Make it worse?
No, not make it worse. Can I be the cause of this fail? Please. I want Rob to look at him and be like, no, it's because of the cheese. But he's also going to stage whisper that to George.
I will tell you this. If you do that, I will give you 1 luck point back, because that is interesting and very in character.
You're going to do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thanks, guy. Thanks. Fuck you. Oh, I'm going to use that pipe on you later. Well, that sounds dirty, but...
Hey. Ooh, we'll be running wild tonight.
George, you feel the hand drop again to your right shoulder. This time, it squeezes uncomfortably as he begins to hold you in place. And as soon as a UPS worker walks out, a woman by the name of Linda, and as she creeps out, "Oh, Chief, what's everyone doing here?"
Just a little stranger
And
danger, ma'am.
He almost picks you up off the wall. And he looks down at you, George, and says, "Well, go ahead, son. You were here first. Tell her what you need."
I need some personal space. Ma'am, can you help me out? Can you deliver me some personal space from this guy?
She looks very confused, but she also looks as if she knows the chief. "What do you need, son?"
Ma'am, I'm just here to pick up a package. I'm picking up for my mom. She said something about like from Grimlock like Industries or something like that, or something Grimlock something or other. Just here to pick up that package and then get on home.
Well, what's your mom's name, son?
She told me not to tell. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Rob, what are you doing during all of this?
Funny you should ask. Rob is trying just not to be noticed. He's seeing this interaction and kind of gripping his pipe tighter, his metal pipe tighter, and just waiting to see at what point the tension here is going to break, because he feels like he could almost cut it with a pipe.
Okay. So you are being as inconspicuous as a teenager holding a pipe with an Optimus Prime mask on can be.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Roll me a stealth.
Well, to be fair, I'm not trying to hide. I'm just trying to let
This
George...
is not for... Yeah, I'm not being
Okay.
a smart ass. Not for the police officer. This is more for the workers.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, the chief knows exactly where you are because you spoke up. But if you're trying to kind of not be noticed at this point, the attention is going to be focused on George and the chief. So the rest, Linda, and presumably the rest of the UPS workers haven't identified Rob's location yet, or even his presence. So you are free to do stuff as long as, if you can negotiate around the chief somehow. But we cut back to the counter as the woman says to George, "Well, what's your mom's name?"
Well, she goes by Opie, but because she's Greek, so her name's Optimus.
Roll charm for me.
2 successes.
She starts writing this down.
Greg, how did you keep a straight face with that?
"Honey, I will try." And she kind of looks up at the chief, and the chief kind of nods. And as soon as she kind of disappears and starts walking through the large racks, the chief squeezes a little more and turns back down and looks at you, George, and says, "Where are your buddies?"
I mean, they have their own lives, Chief.
Haven't been in school so much as I can see, and
Well, one of them got put into a coma because of some bastard, but we'll find that guy soon.
is that why you have the pipes?
No, I already told you. That's for my father. I'm running an errand. 2 errands to be precise. I'm on the second one right now. I'm doing 2 for 2 so far. Well, 1 for 2. Trying to go 2 for 2, sir.
And as this exchange is going on, we're going to cut back up to Edgar Allan Poe Middle School. And since the prior investigate rolls were so high, those government cars you were talking about before, you see 2 of them pull up, very similar to the suburban kind of SUVs that were driven by George's father when last you saw them unload the robots outside of the mag truck graveyard.
Greg, I have one important question for you.
Sure.
It's October, late October, on the East Coast. When was the last time it rained, Greg?
When do you need it to have? Did you need it to be recently wet?
Recently would be great. That'd be the best.
Okay, well then the best way to do that is let's go ahead and have you roll. Let me see. Let's roll a straight heart.
Heart. Okay.
And so if you succeed, it'll be whenever you want it to be.
I didn't succeed. Heart is my lowest score.
Again, I will allow luck here if you want to burn one.
You know what? I'm going to burn 1 luck on this just because this is going to be funny. Ah, fuck. Okay. Cool. So how dry is the ground is the real question here, Greg.
Cold and dry. I mean, it's not necessarily something that is it may be an hour or 2 before, if you had walked through the grass, the tips of your shoes would have gotten wet from the morning dew, but it's not something, it's dried off to the point where you're not walking through mud or the ground's not even soft. It's pretty.
Okay. So Mitch turns to Jerry and says, "Man, this is a bad idea. I think it might still work, but this is a bad idea. I'm just putting it out there, man.
I like the new Mitch.
You need to go home. I need to stop hanging. Anyway, whatever." And he takes his pipe and he starts banging at the ground to try to get up a pile of dirt that he then molds into a ball and starts to proceed down the hill towards the police car.
I really like the new Mitch.
Okay, so you're getting a ball of dirt and then walking down towards the police car.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're able to pull up a piece of sod, and you're able to, with that in one hand and your pipe in the other, make your way down. If you are moving at a rapid pace, roll me a move. If you are rolling at a stealthy pace, roll me a sneak.
I think he's moving at... You know what? I think he's moving at a sneaky pace. Let's see what happens here.
At a medium pace?
He's moving at a sneaky pace.
At a medium. Yes, so you're able to sneak down and you get to where the police car is as the government cars begin to open, and you see several, not necessarily suited men, but people wearing almost the 80s equivalent and the higher end, I don't want to say it's almost like an evening wear type of jacket. It's not a members only, but it has some of the extra, there's one too many button straps on it for it to be any type of like official high-end suit, but they all have ties on as well. It gives them almost a less than zero type of look as they come in. Potentially somebody that's just gone on a cocaine bender, but they look as if they've slept in these outfits or partied in these outfits, but they are nice enough and very off-putting for Garrett, Maryland on Halloween of 1987, unless of course they're in costume.
Right. So, learning from his best friend Jerry, who's slowly becoming his best friend Jerry, and hoping that Jerry's hot on his heels, Mitch crouches behind the cop car and jams that clod of dirt right in that tailpipe, Greg.
Okay, so with the tailpipe being jabbed, you are able to stuff both pipe and dirt into the tailpipe.
Yep, he's packing that thing in there as best he can. And then he gets up, looks for Jerry, and then goes to move around the side of the building.
Okay. I'm going to give you that one for free because I will do this. Let's make a tinker roll just to see how well you, how good of a packer is Mitch.
He's a good packer. I mean,
Not bad.
not bad.
Not bad. So as
Still
you are
on
able
Mitch,
to technically do what needs to be done and what you're trying to accomplish here with the car, you do so. We're going to cut back to the inside as the woman says, "Ah!" and she pulls out a wooden crate about the size of 2 shoeboxes by 2 shoeboxes. So in many ways, it resembles kind of a oblong rectangle, similar to what the mag truck configuration you guys have with the Falcon. In fact, it's eerily similar to that. As she pulls it forward, it seems to be segmented in the same type of 3 by 3 by 3. And as she comes forward without the need for a roll, George, you can see that the center kind of segment in this weird wooden box is painted almost as if it's indicating where the Falcon would be on this mini box of it. And as it comes forward, Rob, you see all of this as the chief pushes you back, George, and says, "Well, let me help you I can open that up for you." And he goes to get a hammer and chisel from the desk where all of the tools and whatnot are laid out in this area.
Well, I would not so fast there, sir. That would be a federal crime, opening somebody else's mail. Federal crime. I don't think you can do that.
This is the United States Postal Service?
Yeah, it's still a private matter, sir. And yeah, I can't show up to my mom with an open box. She's gonna want to return it. Then I'm gonna have to return it. It's you're creating more work for me, sir, and it's not.
Don't worry.
I am worried, sir. I am very concerned right now.
So what I need to do is I need to know what George and Rob are going to do. And Jerry, we're going to say that you kind of sneak around the side and are witnessing this as Mitch is finishing his packing and the other cars are emptying out. And Rob, you would see these other cars arrive that look very similar to the one that George's father arrived in. And so at this moment, as everything is beginning to kind of close in around the kids, I need to know what action each kid is taking before things start to happen. So I will start with George. George, what would you like to do?
Is his hand still on me?
He let go as he walked over to get the
hammer
and chisel. The hammer and chisel, yeah.
So he's not looking at me right now? He's walking to get the hammer and chisel, or has he already
got
them?
He's turned away from you at this point and is kind of ignoring your pleas of not opening up the package.
So he potentially, if a pipe were to hit him in the head right now, he wouldn't see who actually did it directly. It could have been a rogue pipe.
Yes, technically, he would be the small possibility of a rogue pipe would be there, but the thought of you with the pipe and your buddy with the pipe probably would be more prevalent in his mind.
George knows this. George knows. What about, like, I don't know, is there like glass or like a fire extinguisher or something that he could like mess with to like make it to be an emergency, so the officer by law would have to like leave the building? I'm pretty sure that's what you have to do. And for the chief of police to not follow the rules of the law, get the papers, you know?
Well, this is UPS, where the customers' packages and their contents are very important to the Brown Company. And so we're going to say that there is an industrial pressurized fire extinguisher And you know what? It's like right beside you, hanging on the wall, George.
Dude, those things are so faulty. They go off all the time. But
They do. They're really not
yeah,
that
they
good.
really do. As George just blasts his ass with that shit.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead. You're swinging at the fire extinguisher. Rob, what are you doing? Being dramatic, and then
All right, brother. Let me tell you. So you're spraying him with the thing.
I'm trying.
All right. How heavy is this thing? Is this package?
I mean, a
It
single
doesn't-
person brought it out, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Linda's
saying.
carrying it. Yeah, she's carrying it without any aid of like a cart or.
Okay. Grab the package and run. Rob is gonna see his cohort nix the pipe option and go for the rubber bullet option with the and he's gonna just grab the package and run with it like the Hamburglar with a freaking Happy Meal, like.
Okay. We're going to go with Jerry. Jerry, what are you doing as you kind of turn and see this scene going down, as you see your friends in direct conflict with the chief? You see a package being brought out by a female employee of UPS, and you see these government officials converging on the location.
I think he'll look at Mitch and just kind of shake his head. We're fucked. Those government guys, you distract them. And then he's gonna see Rob running away and try to catch the chief's attention and run the opposite way.
Oh, you're going to try to make yourself aware to the chief.
Yeah.
Like you're going to reveal your. Okay.
Yeah. It's me. He'll yell, "Hey, fuck face!"
Okay, this is all going to happen at once. So I just want to know what your intentions are, and if things change, they can change. As I ask Mitch, what's your intentions for the next couple seconds?
Man, they were something different, but now, I think he doubles back and opens the driver's side passenger door of the police car. My intent is, it's the 80s, Greg. What are the chances that those keys are right there in the ignition? That was a thing that happened in the 80s. I've seen shows.
You're going to see if the keys are in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, Greg just furiously crosses out his notes position.
Oh, no. I'm making notes. Okay, I'm going to tell you this.
These fucking guys.
No. You beautiful bastards. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This point going forward, where we had that situation earlier with whether or not it had rained, instead of making rolls for that, if you have any luck points left, if there's something that's feasible or could be 50-50, I will allow you to spend a luck point for it to automatically be in play. So at this point, I will ask Mitch, if you want to spend a luck point, the keys will be dangling.
I have one luck point left.
Okay. So with that being spent, as you peek in, just as everything begins to happen, I will need everyone at home and watching on the internet to cue up the Beastie Boys. Fight for your right. So as we start to kick it, you guys, all of this happens at once. I want George, are you trying to activate the fire extinguisher, or are you using your pipe to knock the top off the extinguisher? You said you were going to town on, I didn't know what that meant.
I think at the time George needs to hit something. He's panicking almost. So I think he just hits the top of it. If that seems like that would somehow explode towards the chief's direction. But if there's a hose on that thing, he might just aim it, you know?
I will allow you to do either.
Oh boy. Oh no. Now, it might be a crime to pull the pin on a fire extinguisher to not be an actual fire, right?
That could be a crime.
It could be a crime. However, faulty hardware happens all the time where the tops just blow the right off.
And rogue pipes, we've already
And
established.
rogue pipes in this town, it is
Canonical.
It's in the
Garrett
Gazette.
has a real problem with rogue pipes.
It
Yeah.
does. It's in the Garrett Gazette. I'm gonna smash the top off that thing to make it just plume.
Okay, so as you swing your pipe against this fire extinguisher, I am going to give you an automatic success, as the pipe would be able to do it what your bare fist couldn't. And as you knock the top off of this fire extinguisher, Rob, you're in the best vantage point to see the entire area, about a 20-foot cube, immediately covered in this exploding powder and gas as the CO2 explodes out of the top of this fire extinguisher, creeping up the wall and splashing against the high ceiling of the warehouse. You see your friend George immediately disappear in white and fog, as within about 3 seconds, the entire area is obscured, almost as if a marine layer or a fog had rolled into the UPS depot. However, you can still see Linda as she is barely holding onto the box and staring at this incoming wave of fog and fire extinguisher foam and dust as she's holding the box. Rob, what do you want to do?
Oh, you know. Rob is gonna see George just and explode this thing, and once the ninja smoke screen goes up, he's gonna and run and try to, running back, handoff, grab this thing from the lady, Linda, please.
Okay.
And just run.
I will allow you to either roll me a force or a move as you attempt to wrest this away from Linda. And you, if you have a luck, you can spend.
I was trying to find the unmute button, but okay, I'm just gonna spend a little luck here. Come on, Daddy needs a box.
So you run through, and just as she's standing there almost ready to drop it, it begins to slip from her grasp as you, like you said, you take it Walter Payton style, take the hand off, cover it up like Riggo as you turn around and exit the area, hauling ass. In which direction do you go, Rob? Back towards the school and the bikes, or to another destination?
Yeah, most definitely back towards the school and the bikes and Mitch and Jerry. And when he comes out of the smoke with the box, if he can see Mitch and Jerry, he is just gonna start yelling, "I get the box! I get the box! I get the box! I get the box! I get the box!" And he's just gonna keep running towards them.
Okay, so as George gets engulfed in this gas and foam and dust, and as Rob is running through, taking it out, screaming that he has it, we're going to cut to Jerry as the chief turns just as this wave kind of crests over his chest, and being a taller adult, he's able to kind of be above it for a moment. Jerry, what do you do here?
He's just hoping to run distraction, knowing he's public enemy number one to this man. He's just going to shout, "Hey, fuckface!" and then run the opposite direction once he catches his attention.
And roll me a charm.
Hey.
And as soon as the first syllable leaves, "hey," before the fuckface even reaches his ears, it's as if the voice of Jerry is identifiable just by a breath in the presence, as this man's hate-filled gaze turns towards Jerry, and he immediately starts moving as you see him obscured by the rest of the fog and the foam. But within a second, you can see his shape as he's pushing out towards you. Jerry, where are you going and where are you running?
Really, it's the mission that's important. Jerry's gonna run through the parking lot, knowing that the car is booby trapped. He'll probably run as fast as he can past the car to try and draw him in, and just towards the nearest cover, whether there's woods nearby or some alleyways. Maybe he's escaped out of some trouble in before.
Okay, so you can see, very similar to that scene in The Karate Kid, Jerry, where you're running, you have a field in front of you. There is a low chain link fence, and then the forest that will eventually empty out into the mag truck graveyard. But just like Daniel LaRusso, who was running across this field, you are being chased not by a group of skeletons, but by one very pissed off police officer as he's running, trailing this dust behind him as he is chasing after you. But before he can get to you, he must pass by a police car. Mitch, what are you doing?
So, Mitch has climbed in the passenger side. And as he sees Jerry run past and Chief Rugen run past, he's climbing over to the driver's side, opening the driver's side door, starting the car, hitting the wigwams, and jamming the pipe on the gas pedal. And as he leaves the front door of the driver's side, he pulls the shaft into reverse. And rolls.
Are you trying to hit him or just distraction with the car going backwards?
He turns the sirens on, and then he wants the car to slam in reverse and just go, because he knows he pegged the tailpipe, and he knows there's woods behind them, so it's either going to blow the engine or crash into a tree, and he rolls out of the driver's side. Or at least he tries to.
As soon as you roll out of the driver's side, what is your intention when you hit the dirt? Where are you running?
The other direction.
Back towards the school?
Probably towards the government people, because I imagine it was like government people, the entrance, the cop car, and then Jerry ran the other way past the cop car.
Okay, so you're to run towards the government people would actually take you back towards the school. So you'd be going in the same direction Rob would be going. Okay,
yeah, perfect.
George, you are currently free, as you saw kind of obscured the large form of the chief leave the area chasing after Jerry. Where do you want to run?
And I heard Rob saying he's got the box.
in the best Rob Ott speech, yeah, you're able to decipher that he did in fact have the box.
I like how it's like, boof! I get it. Hey, fuckface! Wee! You're like, what the fuck's happening?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I heard Daddy needs his box.
I heard that too.
So yeah, I'm gonna cheese it. I'm getting the fuck out of there, and I guess I'm going towards the middle school, maybe in a long route, but I know that that's where like our bikes are. So
okay,
he's assuming it's every man for himself right now.
Alrighty, I would like Mitch to roll a stealth roll if he wants to. You're not trying to distract the chief. You want to try to use the car to distract him, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, you're that's
How about now? The car is a distraction for the chief, and he's running. So he's not stealthing. He's running past the government people, attempting to draw them to his attention and not to Rob's attention, who's yelling, "I got the box," which we know that they're here to use.
You're trying to lure off the government people with you. Okay, so if you're making a distraction, roll a charm roll for me as you're trying to get there.
Oh my god, I made it. I only have 2 dice.
So all of this happens exactly as you explained it, as you were able to jam the pipe in, and as it backs up, the chief kind of watches his car go past, but because of the too charmed taunt that was levied at him by Jerry, the chief watches it crash and continues to chase after the larger boy. But as he's chasing Jerry off through the field towards the woods, the rest of the government officials, almost as one, turn and look at you. And for a moment, you see that boom, that heartbeat through their eyes as you start running, and they all begin to T-1000 after you as they start to haul ass in your direction, Mitch. So we are going to cut now to Rob and George, who eventually, within a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes, meet up at the bikes in front of Edgar Allan Poe Elementary, the Halloween of 1987, Saturday, October 31st. The two of you get there, and from this vantage point, much like you could see the UPS depot before your excursion and your attack, the public enemies of Garrett are now currently running from the law, as you see Jerry running through the field, just now getting to the fence line and the trees beyond as the chief chases after him. And you see Mitch as Mitch is running towards the opposite direction, towards the other end of the tree-lined area, with two of the government officials chasing him. Rob and George, what would you like to do?
And we can see that these guys, the government and the chief, too, are like T-1000ing, or is it just the government guys?
Just the government guys. And by T-1000ing, I mean they're running oddly. They're doing the...
Okay, but they're not running super fast.
No. They're not doing what the kids did that you saw before, where they busted ass.
Gotcha.
It seems to... actually, give me an investigate from George and Rob.
Oh, no. Okay. 1. And a 2.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are nailing these investigate rolls tonight. The two of you, as you're watching, you can see other people reacting to Mitch and the government officials. They're looking at both Mitch and the trailing officials. It seems that normal people can see these loop officials as well. So with those added investigate rolls, especially with Rob, you would think that maybe if they are visible and they interact, they can't act oddly. So while they're running, they're not running as fast as you've seen them run in the past.
Interesting. Man, I'm trying to figure out if Rob would put 2 and 2 together, because I don't think we've openly discussed as a group how, like, I think there's only been one part where there was a revelation that we're the only ones that can see some of this stuff, right? It was the bathroom.
Yeah, we noticed that before.
Yeah.
We were the only ones noticing it.
Okay.
And we even discussed it in the bathroom when Shannon came in and saw the writing as well.
You right, bro. You right. Well, let me tell you, what's Rob gonna do? Rob's gonna keep. We've made it. Have we made it to the bikes yet? Is that a thing?
I totally thought you were gonna say, "What's Rob gonna do when Robomania runs by?"
I should have, Greg. You're better.
Don't encourage him, Greg. Don't.
Who gonna do? Yeah, you guys have made it back to your bikes.
All right. Rob's gonna do his best to convey this to George. Rob's gonna assume, without saying anything, that we're just gonna head back to Teletran 1. He's gonna assume this, so he's gonna think that's where George is going as well once we hop on the bikes. So he's gonna have this thing under his arm and trying to pedal with, or pedal with one hand. He's gonna pedal and steer with one hand, and he's gonna try to tell Butts, not fast, not fast. And that's how he's gonna try to convey that they are not in spectral form or whatever.
Right, and George does pick up on it because he passed his investigate.
Exactly. Yeah, George, you would figure it out too that these aren't running as fast as they can, and as soon as with the secondary success, as soon as Rob points out other people can see them, they're running slower. You would immediately be able to like kind of put that added element in as well, and you would easily be able to figure out, they're kind of governing this down a little bit to kind of make it look right.
What do we do with this information? Do we just go? Because that was George's saying too. Like, these guys had to run from the law. They made it out okay that time. Maybe we gotta just bank on them making it out this time too, and we take care of ourselves. And then if it doesn't, then we try to go look for them and save them. So yeah, I think George is on board with going back to the Falcon.
Okay, so as the two of you watch as your friends disappear into the woods, pursued by various officials, you are able to begin the trek back towards the Falcon, which in fact is a parallel course to the direction that Jerry is going. Jerry's going through the woods to get there. You're taking the roads that actually lead to the abandoned kind of mag truck graveyard. You're going the long way around. Mitch, I'm assuming that you would probably want to kind of double back in that direction. Is that your ultimate goal, or are you trying to go as far away from the Falcon as possible?
That depends, man. How long are these guys following me for?
They do not seem like they're stopping.
So if Mitch doesn't see like the Robo Force is nonstop, he is running in the direction of the school, and the school's open right now for decorations, and he goes through the back door of the gymnasium and is running through the corridors of the school out towards the front entrance, and he's making as much noise as possible in those cacophonous, echoing hallways of a middle school, shouting things like, "Help me, they're after me," trying to grab anyone's attention to make this situation known as he continues to jet out as fast as possible. Because his bike is on the hilltop, I would assume. So he has to run. He's going to go a long way around, but he wants to put as much things in between him and these robo people as possible.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to roll the following for me.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask for either any of the heart skills. You may roll me a contact, a charm, or a lead as you enter Edgar Allan Poe Middle School screaming bloody murder.
I'm going to roll contact. For no reason. They're all zeros. Nope. And I'm all out of luck. So lost without you, Mike.
Okay, and I will allow this the next time we come back to you, Mitch. If you want to use your pride, you may do so to burn it for a success here. But then, of course, it will be gone for this session.
Okay.
Think about that for a moment. As George and Rob, you all are headed off in the direction that you went. Jerry, you have just kind of posted over the small, like 3 foot tall, almost like an outfield fence of a baseball field. And as you post over it, you hit in the first couple steps, you hear the dead leaves beneath your feet as you into the woods. And a second or two later, you hear the whoom of a much larger body hitting, and the as the chief is just a few beats behind you. What are you going to do, Jerry?
Hype him. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Jerry's knuckles are like white on the pipe. As is tradition. He can feel like his heartbeat in his ears, but he just keeps hearing Ben's voice. Stop, Jerry. Stop, Jerry. Stop, Jerry. And I think to get rid of that temptation, he's gonna just throw his pipe to the ground and go into a full sprint.
As you throw the pipe to the ground and begin to run, first roll me an investigate, and then roll me a move.
There's that one. And that one. I think I'll burn a luck. give that move a try again. It didn't help.
Okay. So here's what happens before we go back to Mitch. As you throw the pipe down, for a moment, even though you open your hand, it does not leave your grasp, as the electricity and the sparks that are coming from your fingertips lance into the metal, and for a moment it acts almost as if a magnet is keeping it in your palm. And as you drop it to the ground, you realize that the chief has reached you, but you hear him pull out a gun as he says, "Whatever the fuck you are, stop." And let's cut back to Mitch. As Mitch, you are running through the halls of Edgar Allan Poe Middle School. And as you're running, I will ask you now, do you want to use your pride?
What the fuck, Greg? Yes, I do. I do want to use my pride, and here's how I want to use it. So he's running through in the classic 80s action movie montage chase scene where you're pulling as many things behind you to give yourself distance away from the enemy, screaming bloody murder, and he passes a school water fountain. And I reach in my back pocket and pull out my adjustable wrench, and I'm going to hit the spigot of the water fountain, spend my pride, which is one day my robot will conquer the world, and just shoot water out in the direction of robots and keep running. Does that work?
Absolutely. Water goes everywhere. And as you do it, you kind of take a glance behind you as you see a female, a woman and a man coming running towards you in that very odd posturing that they use. And as they run, you smash the water fountain as it sprays water from both pipe and faucet, immediately flooding this area of the tiled hallway. Roll me a move as you...
Fuck.
So as you turn to run, you do not get caught in the water, but you slip and you hit the ground and slide away and kind of crab backwards as you see them slow as they're standing there, the water splashing off of them, seemingly unconcerned with how it is ruining their wonderful less than zero, club jackets that they had been wearing. And as it mats the tie of both man and woman against them, they begin to walk much slower as we cut back to Jerry. Whatever the fuck you are, stop.
Knowing the danger of the situation, I think Jerry's going to comply, kind of hold his hands out at his side.
Jerry, when you put your arms up, there's still electricity going almost like Egg Shen in Big Trouble in Little China as it arcs between your hands as you put them above you, lancing in each fingertip as whatever the power was that you were gifted during the communication. You stand, and as that electricity is above, do you turn and face the chief? What the fuck are you guys laughing? Jesus.
There's an inside joke. I really love the movie Little Trouble in China.
He just mouthed David Lopan.
David Lopan.
All right, so are you turning to face the chief, or are you like keeping your back to him?
I think he'll turn to face him. Slowly.
Okay, as you turn around, the electricity is still lancing around your body as the only person that can see this is the chief. And as the chief is standing there, you see that he has in fact pulled his service revolver out and he has leveled it at you. Roll me an investigate check, Jerry.
I got one.
just as the pipe stayed in your hand, you can feel the gun. And you think you can grab it with the electricity.
He's still in his head, just hearing, "Stop, Jerry. Stop, Jerry." But it all feels so natural. I think Jerry's going to try and reach out and disarm this man somehow.
So, roll me a force roll, Jerry, as you reach your arm out and energy lances from your fingers.
That's 2 successes.
As the energy creeps up, instantaneously, the flash of a lightning bolt, 5 times augmented from each of your fingertips, it grabs hold of the worn service revolver, yanking it from the man's grasp. And as it yanks from his grasp, you see his sleeve pull up a bit, and there on his wrist is a broken calculator watch. The gun pulls into your hand. Son, I don't know what the fuck you are, but put that down.
God damn it. Yeah. Jerry's got 3 words for the chief. Ben fucking McKenzie. And he's gonna shoot him in the leg.
As the shot goes off, we creep back up to Edgar Allan Poe Middle School. As this is Garrett, Maryland, during hunting season, a shot in the woods is just as familiar as a bird in the sky. But here at Edgar Allan Poe Middle School, where water is collecting in a tiled pool outside of the range of Mitch, these two are standing in there drenched. And as you begin to crab away, all of a sudden, you see what looks like a rope. But even as you watch it go through the air, you realize it is a frayed extension cord as it hits the water, and you immediately see the two people begin to jolt and turn, moving incredibly odd as they crack in weird positioning, and you see the beats going through their eyes, tick-tung, 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 faster and faster. And they drop to their knees and freeze. They do not fall. Their eyes remain open, but the pulses of red die as you see the water still matting the hair and clothing. And when you look over towards the room to your left, the science room, you see Mr. Derry standing there. You're okay, Mitch. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm fine. What the hell?
Goddamn loop. And as we cut from Edgar Allan Poe Middle School, we cut down to Astrotrain, the Falcon, Teletran 2. As George and Rob arrive, the package marked Grimlock in their hands. It is yours to open.
Rob, it's only fitting if you open this.
Oh, okay. Now, old Sheriff Hole in the Leg got he was gonna take a chisel and hammer to it. Does that look like something I will have to do, or what's this?
Like the top lifts right off. It looks like the chief was unaware of how easily this would open.
Rob's gonna ceremoniously put his hands on the top, look at George. You ready, brother? And he's gonna.
No, apparently I'm not.
And he's gonna lift it up, but not all at once. He's gonna lift it up as if it has hinges on the back to kind of look at it. Please don't be Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Yes, it's not. As you open it and it creaks open, the first thing that you see inside is what looks like in many ways, it looks like a flight system. There's several joysticks, and it seems to kind of fold and collapse out into roughly like a 3-foot control panel with buttons and slide levers and 2 joysticks on it. And underneath it, there is a bound spiral packet, or a almost like a published notebook or report. And across the front, it says, "How to make Cybertron." And on top of all of this, as you kind of move it aside, a picture floats from the side on that's been clipped by a paper clip, breaks free, and flutters to the floor of Teletran 2. It's a picture of Shannon, and beneath it says Grimlock. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end this episode of Atari Twilight.
Fuck, man.
Shannon's kind of hot though, so I'm.
I called Shannon from the fucking beginning. I said it.
He did.
Hell yeah. Fucking Shannon. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, man. Guys, that was episode 7 of Atari Twilight, Public Enemy, and I think we lived up to the title. Sans won Sam. Probably better if she wasn't here for what happened today. I think that George and Rob finally joined the Bad Boys Club that Jerry has been forming the entire season. And he has a criminal element that is now in Garrett, Maryland. And he's a superhero, for fuck's sake.
Are we the Jer Bears?
We're the Jerry and the Jer Bears.
Jer Bear stare.
Oh, man. So, let's go around, get your thoughts on this episode, and then hear from our sponsors and get the hell out of here. We'll start with Greg. Greg, who are you? Where can we find you? What did you think about this episode?
Greg, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. I love this group. I know we're a little early tonight, but I didn't want to take it any further because we have other things that are going to pop up that will take a bit longer. And I love this group. I mean, just first off, when you show up and you've got somebody dressed like Hulk Hogan in chat, need I say more? And this, I've said it once, I'll say it again, this collection of characters, from the journey that George is taking to the evolution of Jerry, to Rob getting these messages and figuring out what it means to him as far as being a leader or a follower, and the journey that Mitch is taking and trying to, in many ways, kind of wrangle all of these elements that are beyond wrangling. It's utterly fantastic to sit and watch. It is literally, it's a Netflix series, and I absolutely love these characters to death. If you need to find me, Grimjack21502 on Twitter. I have a couple things going on over on my channel. We have a Dragonlance show every Wednesday night. This Wednesday on Halloween Eve, we will be, the Eve of Hallows, we will be going on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have Grant Ellis doing a Little Invisible Sun Friday night at 9. A couple more shows coming on to the channel very soon, but just follow me on Twitter, and whatever you do, check it out tomorrow as the next playlist will be up for our episode 8, I believe, Thundercats Ho. Until next time, everybody. See you then.
What the fuck could that mean? Man. Okay, guys, before we jump on the next one, if you guys want to see more of any capacity of the Atari Twilight crew, harass Greg on the internet. Find him, tell him you want more of it, tell him you demand it. And with those demands, we'll jump over to our superhero of the day. Mr. Bitters, who are you, where can we find you on the internet, and what did you think of today's episode?
You keep using the term superhero, but I kind of shot a cop, so.
Well, you know.
But yeah, I'm Mr. Bitters. I hate everything. You can find me here. I moderate, air quotes, moderate. And mostly I hang out and I make fun of people. And they keep inviting me to games for it. Tonight was something. I didn't even know where to begin. And I know in my head that, what I did was real dumb. And I don't know where I'm going from here. But Jerry is what Jerry does.
Stupid. Perfect. So to steal Greg's catchphrase of brother, how are you feeling, brother? KW Frags, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of this episode?
Oh, brother, let me tell you something about this match. This is probably one of the greatest top tier matches I've ever been in my life, minus a cage. Rob did a lot of things. He took a lot of liberties. He's coming into his own as a man. I like it, brother. I do. I'm
the wonderful KW Frags. You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter as KW Frags. I do lots of things, but at the same time, I do nothing.
Perfect. It's just the way I like my mods. Speaking of doing nothing, Mike, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what did you think of today's episode?
Does nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry what I did all this weekend for you. I'm sorry. Go check out Patreon if you want to see what I did.
That's true.
With Mike. Mike and I both did. We had our roles. So I'm Mike, the Anonymous Rhino. I play. I'm on Twitter at @BaloneySlap. I don't really do much on there. I'll be honest. I just kind of like retweet everything else. But whatever. I might surprise you. I'm playing George Butts. Clearly, perfect. We know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. That's it.
Perfect. Before we get the lot of here, guys, let's hear from our sponsors, which is this day. Sponsor, how do I spell that word? There we go. Sponsors, which is the Dice of Rolling. That is a complete set of polyhedral dice featuring optimized quantities and fun colors for D&D 5e. As any convenience store around the country will tell you, the holidays are just around the corner, and these dice make a great present for first-timers. So definitely get your hands on those. Code UMG for $1 off. Kick back some cash to the show. Also, speaking of cash to the show, check out our Patreon that Mike just mentioned. We have our very first patron newsletter coming out. We are super proud of it. We released a preview for everyone to see how awesome the work is we've done. And the goal of the Patreon is to get money to pay these people here. To pay the GMs that give up their time every week, and to pay the players that give up their time every week to put on such an amazing show for everyone here. So with that, guys, let's get the hell out of here. Let's go raid somebody that I should have prepared to look up a minute ago and totally didn't, because I'm a professional streamer and I was very prepared the entire time, and you can't tell me any different. Let's go over to Scraticus, who's currently playing some, I believe, Mouse Guard, which is a complete fun opposite of this game. So go check those guys out. Give them all your hot, sticky raid love. And from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.